is controlling myself around the ladies, man. I just be ridiculous. Cause I love them so much, I be like, yo. Having fun, seeing all the girls, basically. It's great to come out and show the world how to be a gentleman and try to have fun.
He's not going to do anything like this in the future.
If you're not my fan, then don't listen to my music. I'm not asking you to.
When is your hearing for your restraining order?
We have a woman that called for help around 3 o'clock this morning.
Winner of 4 BET Awards, Mr. Chris Brown.
How does it feel? You feel like a man?
The back of his butt, he grabbed my phone and threw it across the street like, get on my butt.
No, I have not spoken about this matter publicly.
We're at Hit Mission Music Production. My mission is to write hits, just not songs, but hit songs. My name is Clarence Jenkins, and I am a retired school teacher and military, and I am an executive producer of Hit Mission Music Company. This particular plaque right here is for the project that went double platinum. That's the first album, entitled Chris Brown. In 2002, 2003, we were actually looking for talent. So a rapper bought my partner a CD.
He was like, you know, hey, Lamont, I got this CD. He was like, I'd like for you to check me out.
Listened to it, it was okay, but nothing that kind of spin my wheels to make me say I want to invest money and time into it. But we heard a voice in the background. The way I heard his vibrato and the way the songs was coming on, like, he's very mature.
He reminded me of Michael Jackson. I said, huh, who is that?
Ever since I was 2, I always was dancing, performing, always. But like, I guess I would have to say I was around 11 or 12 when I found out I could sing.
Chris Brown was young when he was discovered. He was 14, good looking. He could dance, he could sing. We produced the first music video and the record. I would put my own talent shows together. Chris Brown spoke.
I remember I was on these stages, but I was doing the same thing with Lamar. Sing, boy, sing. Get into it.
That was the early Chris, the innocent Chris, the beginning of his career. So we submitted this demo to the record label. And the rest is history.
Chris Brown is the name. Get used to that right there.
I remember when he first came out, I was like, who is this little kid?
He's a baby. He's got such a baby face.
They don't have like regular chairs in the front. They have couches. You get to relax and lean back.
The story around Chris Brown very much was that he was going to be the next Michael Jackson.
I saw him in the film this Christmas. He had such charisma, like he draws you in.
About 15 years ago, I was working for BET News. I'd go on 106 and Park and I would cover the music industry, big stories that would happen. 15 years old, the rest of us are hanging out in the mall. Chris Brown is signing record deals and he is making records. And Run It was released. It went to #1. He was actually the first male artist to have a debut single reach #1 on the Billboard charts for 10 years.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I'm having fun. Everything we doing, just having fun.
For a couple of years, his music was everywhere.
In 2007, Wrigley's actually signed a deal with Chris Brown for double mint gum. They actually paid for him to go in the studio and create a full-length song from that jingle, which was Forever.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It went viral after this wedding procession. He was dancing down the aisle to this Chris Brown song. And then The Office ended up using this dance in one of their episodes when Jim and Pam get married. So he had really cornered this very particular piece of pop culture ubiquity just from one song.
You've got stars and then you've got superstars. What Chris had was the talent and the presence and the work ethic and the confidence to be an absolute superstar.
She wants it.
He spoke to female audiences.
That's the type of stuff will get you in trouble, player.
For the young ladies, I mean, what's up, man? You got a girl or what?
Nah, I'm keeping my options open, so y'all be checking for me, you know what I'm saying?
Rihanna, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Yes, ma'am, go right ahead.
Seems like you just came from nowhere. Everything is a big deal for me because I was just a normal girl growing up in Barbados, doing normal things, and now there's just so many things happening.
Robin Fenty, also known as Rihanna, she's from Barbados, makes it big in the United States and around the world.
She went from being the girl next door with Pon the Replay and SOS, and then came out with this new edgy Rihanna, and people really loved it, and she was pushing the boundaries. In 2005, Rihanna and Chris Brown were actually photographed backstage at the Z100 Jingle Ball.
They both were kind of like exploding onto this scene and making these really fun songs that people could dance to and vibe with.
So these two young stars struck up a friendship, and they really hit it off. We're not sure when that friendship became romantic, because for the longest time they were trying to convince us all, no, we're just platonic, no, we're just friends. But one really, really big and special moment for them was at the MTV Awards 2007. They were 18, 19. Chris Brown had this amazing performance, bounding from the stage to different platforms, and the audience is just like, wow. The curtain opens, and there's a silhouette of this gorgeous woman with legs for days, and it's Rihanna. And everyone goes absolutely nuts. You could feel the chemistry between the two of them, especially from Chris. Like, we all wanted them to be together. And then eventually we found out that they were a couple. Fans were really excited to see the pop prince and princess together.
I was like, yes, we love this. This is gonna be fun, this is gonna be great.
It's tough to still play the game of like, oh, they were a power couple, they were so beautiful, they were so charming, they were so well matched. He still hit her in that car.
The Grammys 2009 was probably going to be the biggest night of their lives, actually. They were 19 and 20. Chris was up for 2 Grammy Awards, and he was going to hit the stage. Rihanna was up for 3 Grammy Awards, and she was going to hit the stage with Justin Timberlake. And there were photographs of Chris Brown with Rihanna at a party the night before. They'd left together in Chris's rented Lamborghini.
I'm Cheryl Dorsey, a 20-year veteran of the Los Angeles Police Department. I didn't really know about Chris and Rihanna's dating relationship. I'm a different generation, and so that wasn't anything that I was really tracking until around 12:40 in the morning. There was a call to dispatch 911 of an assault.
NX-17, come in.
It was somebody in the Hancock Park area who had heard a woman continuously screaming for help.
The incident report states Chris and Rihanna were driving in his little Lamborghini around town. Rihanna had seen something on his phone that made her think that he was dealing with another female. And by his own admission, when she confronted him in the car, he kind of got a little annoyed with her. So the nerve of her to have the temerity to talk to him and ask him and question him about whatever it is that he's doing.
Chris tried to shove her out of the car, open the car door and get her out of the car. She had her seatbelt on, so that didn't work. Then he punched her in the eye. He punched her in the left eye.
He's driving, punching her with his right fist as he drives with his left hand. And this goes on for blocks.
And he kept punching her, and her mouth was filling up with blood. Chris Brown had said to her, I'm gonna beat the SHIT out of you. She tried to call her assistant. Her assistant didn't answer the phone. So she pretended that she had and that she was on the phone with her, and she said, please make sure the police are there when I get home. Likely she was hoping that this would get Chris to calm down and sort of come to his senses. But when she said that, He said,
So he grabs her phone to prevent her from calling anybody else to report what's going on inside that vehicle.
he then put her in a chokehold, and it was so tight that she began to lose consciousness.
She now starts gouging at his eyes.
He bit her fingers.
And it's at that point that she's able probably to get enough air to just start screaming as loud as she can to alert neighbors.
He pulled over, and that's when Rihanna sort of saw her chance. She grabbed the keys, she sat on the keys, but acted like she'd thrown them out of the window. He couldn't find the keys, Chris left.
So the photos of Rihanna's face after the assault were released. They were leaked by LAPD, which they're not supposed to do that.
Every woman who has been the target of any sort of violence, she should have the right to release the details that she wants to release.
The thing that was most shocking about it was how brutal it looked.
She had 2 large knots on either side of her forehead. She had what looked like a cut under one of her eyes.
Her lip was busted and bruised. She sustained other injuries to her face as a result of her head being smashed repeatedly against the window.
The entire world realized at that point that there was a darker side to Chris Brown. There was a more sinister side to Chris Brown. Chris Brown said himself he was public enemy #1.
I teach courses on family violence. When I unpack the Chris Brown-Rihanna situation and the domestic violence in my class, it's important that we understand that domestic violence doesn't come from nowhere. It doesn't just happen out of anywhere. The question is really not what's wrong with you, but what happened to you.
Chris is from a small little town called Tappahannock in Virginia with a population of 2,000 people. He was very close to his biological parents, but things began to change for Chris when his parents split and his mother got remarried to his stepfather. Even before what happened with Rihanna, Chris had done an interview speaking about how his mother dealt with abuse at the hands of his stepfather.
I want to talk about your childhood.
I don't want to mention the person's name, but like somebody that hurt my mom from the age of like 7 all the way to like 13. Me seeing that and being, you know what I'm saying, like visually abused by it.
Trauma. He's talking really very candidly about the trauma that he experienced.
Chris says that there were many times that he saw his stepfather beating on his mother.
And it was so bad at times, he would pee on himself because he was too scared to go down the hallway to go to the bathroom.
Scared to get up, you know what I'm saying? Scared to get up and see what was going on.
What's